So I moved out. Hi, hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Emily Wooten. This is
Mary Boom. Hi.
And welcome to Freaks of a Feather. I think I did that backwards, but that's okay. I've had a very strong edible, so
Bear with us.
One thing at a time. So recently I moved out.
Yeah, Emily's in her new house.
My new house,
yes.
which we will record soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing some renos.
Hashtag.
I'm not doing renos. I'm fucking painting walls. Not renovations. No. But I moved out on, I think it was close to the wolf moon.
The wolf moon, and we figured out that our periods were pretty close to synced at that point.
You got yours on the wolf moon. I got mine the day after. Yeah. So I mean, we sync as soon as I move.
Hey, any other ladies out there that have synced with the full moons? Because it's kind of weird, but I at least know what's coming.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
I got you synced up on it.
You got me synced up on it too. Yeah. I mean, the wolf moon.
The wolf moon.
So yeah, then this year the wolf moon was on the 6th of January at 6:07 p.m. I think that's Eastern Standard, so not standard for everybody.
Yeah.
The next year, the wolf moon will be on the 25th of January at 12:54 p.m. Again, I think that's Eastern Standard, so that doesn't mean dick if you live somewhere else, another time zone. Anyways, in days of old, Mary, did you know in days of old that...
Are we going in the way, way back machine?
We're going in the way, way back machine.
Ooh, everybody buckle up.
So, back in, dare I say it, ancient times.
Ooh. Sounds fun for a woman.
No. It's never been fun.
It's still not. It's better.
Well, I mean,
it's better.
It's better.
It's better.
Yeah, significantly.
We have voices on the internet, so.
But let's say in ancient times, human beings, we would mark our calendar days by tracking the full moon cycles, the cycles of the moon, instead of the sun. Okay, so which is why you have all of these full moons that gain significance in different cultures, European, indigenous. I mean, pretty much any culture. There's a significance to the moon, in some way.
Yeah.
But thus the full moons gained names and were given significance. And so the wolf moon is thought to have Celtic and Old English origins.
Ooh.
Other names for the wolf moon are the stay-home moon and the quiet moon.
Okay.
Which is very bizarre considering that this is supposed to be the time of the year when the wolves are most active and most vocal, which is why it's named the wolf moon. So quiet moon, no.
Not so quiet for the wolves.
The wolves. So you see, wolves, they're particularly active around the midwinter months. So through January, February, they will project louder their howls higher into the air in order to cue neighboring packs and lone wolves of their presence. The winter moon, the wolf, is named the wolf moon because it's the most vocal time. Coincidentally, the wolf moon, this past one, was also a micro moon.
Ooh.
Which just means it was the farthest away from Earth out of all the full moons this year. I don't know how the fuck. I don't know.
Yeah. Me either.
But because of the wolf's projected howl, it's been considered for a long time in lore that they howl because of the moon or at the moon. But it's more or less just like acoustics is why they get on a high peak and howl up into the sky. But the average, so the micro moon, it's interesting that distance is echoed in the wolf's howl. Because the wolves only do this long projected howl during January and February. Because in the summer, they're howling toward their own pack mates. Or they're howling with them.
Interesting.
So, I mean, one could say, you know, the wolf moon is symbolic of projecting one's voice or projecting one's manifestations into the ether.
Ooh.
For what is a lone wolf's howl, Mary? Into the night air, but a prayer to the cosmos to be seen and heard.
Yes.
To witness its existence.
Are you guys taking notes?
You can like mark the chapters where Emily gets more and more fucked up because of the edible. Boom. Yup. Next. Yep. She's leveled up. So, why all this talk about wolves, moons, manifestations, and menstruations? Well, it got me thinking about the nature of the wolf.
The wolf?
The wolf.
The wolf.
And it's long and bloody history of carnal bloodlust throughout the winter months. We don't have to deal with wolves on a regular basis here.
Thankfully.
Thank God. Because, I don't know. But during the 18th century, in Europe in particular, okay, thousands of people apparently each year were attacked by wolves. It was just really common to walk out of your house and get mauled by a wolf.
Jeez. Well, I will say, living out here amongst a bunch of farmland, we will have packs of coyotes. Mm-hmm. We will have coyotes, and they are in packs, and you can hear them, and their sounds, like, there's been sometimes I've came really late home from work and stuff, and I can hear them. I'm like, okay, get in the house, get in the house, get in the house.
I've seen a coy wolf.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they can breed with wolves, and they're fucking huge.
Jesus.
And coyotes are fucking mean. They're devious. They're just evil little shits. Like, they'll play with dogs. Like, they will play with a domesticated dog and, like, get them to, like, you know, chase after each other so that the dog will chase the coyote into their, like, den, and then all the other coyotes will jump in on the dog and they'll fucking kill it and eat it. They're crazy. They're awful.
I did watch a show on a group of preppers. It was like a prepper show, and they had lived out in New Mexico or somewhere, very desolate, and they had a couple dogs that ran off with coyote packs.
Yep.
And just were never seen again.
Yep.
Just decided to
Oh, yeah.
join.
We had a coyote eat our cat when I was in high school. He ripped its fucking leg off and he died from internal hemorrhaging, but I'm not a fan of coyotes around here. So if you live in East Tennessee or you're around West North Carolina, you know,
keep your eyes
they're
out.
around and they're breeding with wolves because I saw one on a mountain road in North Carolina and it was fucking huge and it was at night and its eyes were bright yellow. Oh. Scary as fuck.
I tell you, on a back road one time, I almost picked up with what I thought was a cute little kitty cat.
Oh, yeah?
And my husband was in the car, and I'm like, honey, a kitty cat. He's like, that's not a kitty.
That's not a kitty, mouse.
He's German. And it was a bobcat.
It was a bobcat.
I was like, pull over this car immediately. We're saving this cat.
That is not a kitty.
If I would have been alone, I would have let a bobcat in my car.
Yeah. Well, during 18th century Europe, thousands of people were attacked by wolves. So I guess they're fucking brazen. Brazen. Yeah. I mean, a lot of herds people were attacked because you're out in nature. You're with your cattle. You're basically, which is wolf chum. You're chumming you're chumming the waters for wolves, basically, or the prairies for wolves. And they get attacked, but, in fact, it wasn't uncommon for certain packs of wolves to stalk individual homesteads and farmlands and groups and pick off individuals one by one. Terrifying.
Jeez. Just go to the grocery store.
Yeah, I know. Like, you have enough trouble. Like, you have enough trouble on your plate, okay?
I do.
It's not like you don't have to drag your wares into town every Sunday and your fucking crooked, hobbled feet because you're wearing shoes made out of fucking rocks and wood, right? You've got bad bowels from the cholera. Mm-hmm. You haven't washed your ass in a fortnight.
Yeah.
The fungal infection is almost to your brain.
Yes.
Okay. And now you have to worry about man-eating wolves.
Great. Where can we go to see these man-eating wolves? Like what time frame we in?
It's the 18th century, so
Ooh.
1700s.
Ooh.
But man-eating animals that's not too out there, that happens sometimes, like the Zavo lions. Have you ever heard about that?
No.
It's like almost 100 years after this occurs. The Zavo lions were these two lions, male lions, that hunted together, where they were building the railway in Zavo, I guess. And at night, they would come out and they would drag dudes together out of their tent and drag them off and eat them.
Oh.
It's fucking crazy.
I saw a TikTok the other night of a man that was sleeping in his tent and he woke and there was a leopard underneath him like a pillow. And the guy's filming it and he's just laying on this leopard looking at it. Just deals with the fact that this leopard is in there hibernating with him. Woke up that morning just to pet the leopard. And you know how they ended this TikTok? The leopard had a big breakfast.
Goddamn, Brenda! That's a knee slapper.
Woo!
You did good job, Brenda.
I was invested in it. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I want to hear the end of the story. And he's like, and the leopard had a big breakfast that morning. I'm like, yeah.
My father. That's stuff that legitimately my father and grandfather would be like, Jesus Christ.
But I was, yeah.
Anyways.
So invested.
So,
anyway.
But nevertheless, the wolf attacks in 18th century Europe were fucking awful. Apparently, they're commonplace enough that they're reported in papers everywhere. Like, it's common.
Good Lord.
But, however, consider that. You have enough, it's like your wolf attacks took place of car accidents back in the day. Instead of car accidents, it's wolf attacks. But imagine, it's that common, but there was a string of violent altercations in France that inspired a ripe new terror in everyone who heard about it.
Ugh.
Okay, so this is how bad this was, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, that was the Beast of Gévaudan.
The Beast of Gévaudan!
Gévaudan!
Yes!
Your mother, like, I want the Gévaudan! I was like, what?
Yeah, I tell my mom, she's like, what are you guys researching next? I'm like, the Beast of Gévaudan. She's like, the Beast of Gévaudan!
Gévaudan! I know I'm gonna pronounce a bunch of French names incorrectly, and okay. Sorry. But this wasn't just any wolf. This wasn't just any wolf attack.
Not any wolf.
These were hundreds of attacks within a 50-mile radius in the countryside of Gévaudan, which was a province in France. Now it is broken up to all these different provinces. This happened between 1764 and 1767. And this wasn't just any wolf. This was a massive, by all counts, the survivors said this was a massive wolf, sort of a wolf, sort of not, with formidable teeth and a giant tail that ended with a poof.
Oh, that's
cute.
Poof. Sounds cute.
I know. It murdered countless of shepherd, children and women mainly.
Not cute.
Some men, But the beast would stalk these children, these women, who were alone with their flock in the field, and it would pounce and maul them to death. And it was noted that the victims were mainly mutilated on their face and on their necks.
Jesus.
Now, the beast was described as being larger than an average wolf. Some said it was the size of a horse, which, fuck me.
Yeah.
Sorry. I have to edit this out. No, sacre bleu. Study in 1997 looked over the remaining records of the events of the time, and they estimated there were around 610 attacks within this 50-mile radius.
Damn.
500 deaths, 49 injured, and 98 victims were only partially eaten.
Between 1764 and
1767.
That's a lot.
All within this, but it's not just wolf attacks, it's specific reports of this giant fucking terrifying wolf.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Especially in the 1700s, where I'm sure there's not that many people living in these small villages in southern France. Like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, and the bizarre elements of this story kind of inspired this conjecture on whether, is this a werewolf? Like, could lycanthropy be involved? Because of the brutality of it and the fact that I didn't read anywhere where there was cattle that was mutilated or cattle that was eaten. It was specifically just murdering, killing off these fucking kids and these women
and children.
So a lot of people like associated it as a supernatural evil being that was basically committing homicide.
Jeez.
Essentially. So, yeah, no.
Jeez.
Very intense. So, so the beast, and you got to think about back in the day, there wasn't a fast news cycle. Everything's pretty much by word of mouth, and then released in like I guess gazettes or in town papers and shit. Like you don't, but it's like this was well known enough that the King of France knew about it.
Yeah.
Like so. The Beast made its debut in the summer of 1764. Oh, I remember.
Do you remember 1764?
Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, because we were alive then.
We were alive, just like we look, just like we are now.
Yes.
A young woman named Jean Valet was attending cattle in a field in the Merquois forest near the town of Langongne, East Gévaudan. The beast, she reported, was like a wolf, but not quite like a wolf, much larger. It charged at her, but luckily the bulls and the cattle that she was herding charged back at it. Like, basically protected her.
Yeah.
Like, or protected the herd. And so it tried to break the line of cattle again to get to the girl. And the bulls again drove it off. Well, not long after this incident, in the same region, a 14-year-old girl named, again, Jean Boulet, she was found in her pasture with her throat ripped out.
Not cool. Not cool.
So, more attacks and killings spread through Gévaudan. So by that October, there were so many attacks in this 50-mile radius that the locals were like, okay, this has to be more than one wolf. Yeah. This has to be more than one creature. And so after this mauling that occurred is called the Chateau de la Boime, there was this mauling that occurred, and so they got together, all these huntsmen got into a group to flush out the beast.
Jeez.
Okay, and this is October of 1764. And so, via eyewitness testimony, the beast was indeed flushed out of the forest. It was shot multiple times with musket rifles, and it fell to the ground. But almost as if propelled by a supernatural agency, it arose and darted off into the woods.
Now, was that the one that was sent from the king's forces?
No, these are just locals who got together and were like, they're like, so it started off in the summer of 1764. By the fall, they're like, okay, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they banded together, all the local huntsmen and stuff, and they're like, we gotta find this fucking thing.
Yeah.
They found something. They flushed it out, shot it. It wouldn't die. It took off into the woods.
Gosh.
And so as 1764 elapsed, more and more accounts became popularized.
Ooh.
And it was by December, they were pretty much, there was a constituency, they were like, there has to be multiple of these giant things. Then, on January 12th, 1765, a 10-year-old boy named Jacques Potiphar, and his 7 friends were playing in the pasture when they were approached by none other than the Beast.
The Beast of Gévaudan?
The Beast of Gévaudan!
What is going on now?
Apparently, Jacques and his friends armed themselves, like I read in the accounts, with, it says, sticks.
Great, that'll do a lot.
Which I immediately thought, I was like, that's gotta be some fucking stick. That's a meaty motherfucker.
It'd have to be a walking stick.
That's
just sharpened.
That's a club. Mm-hmm. That's a bat. Mm-hmm. Like, to beat off a horse. Beat off a horse. To fend off a horse-sized wolf.
I tell you, beating off a horse ain't as easy as it used to be in the 1700s. You'd have to use sticks to beat off a horse. Me, nowadays, I can just use my hands. Anyway.
I don't use gloves because he's got a latex allergy. Anyways, so it's a big fucking stick. Either way,
it's a horse beating stick.
They drove off the beast. Okay. Now, the king of France at the time, Louis the 15th, he was moved by this.
He loved a good horse beating off. the France horse beat off.
My kidneys hurt. Stop.
For miles and miles, many Frenchmen would come to see the horses beat off.
I'm gonna die. Oh my god. I'm gonna die.
But this isn't about horses. This is about wolves.
Werewolves. Oh, Jesus. So, King Louis the 15th felt prompted to do something about this evil creature. Okay. Oh, he did. Oh, yes. But first, he rewarded the boys who survived with some money. Okay. Huh. And he paid, he only awarded Jacques, though, with a paid education by the crown, which I don't think is fair, because if Jacques was by himself, he would be in a wolf's colon. So, yeah. I don't think that shakes out as fair.
Congrats, you get to learn the alphabet.
But Louis the 15th decided he was going to put a bounty on the beast's head. To stir up interest, So he declared 6,000 livres, or I don't know how you pronounce it, to be awarded to the party that could kill and present him with the dead beast. Okay. Now, I looked it up. 6,000 livres in 1765 is about equal to $7,500-ish of that time.
Okay. To hunt down and beat off a beast.
But in today's money, the equivalent purchasing power would be around $247,000. That's a big fucking bounty. So
gotta go beat off a horse wolf. How would a horse wolf sound?
Like that. It's canceled. We're so that's a life-changing amount of money. $247,000. So I mean, what could go wrong? You know, surely this would, inspire people to work together, not just be out for themselves, huh?
No.
Surely.
They band together. They want to split that.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
But don't worry, because King Louis had no intention of paying someone out.
No.
He sent his own guy in after the beast.
Yeah.
First man he sent in was named Captain Duhamel. And he was sent in to capture the beast. But you see, the locals weren't keen on helping Duhamel for obvious reasons of conflict of interest. We've gathered ourselves. We've
My camera was getting too hot for this wolf horse talk.
For this horse beating. This horse beating.
I mean, would you beat off a wolf horse
God
for $250?
For
$250K? $250,000? She's not gonna say. We know. We know.
No, I mean, but $250,000.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, well, that's in purchasing power of today's money.
Yeah.
So yeah, $6,000. So
Sure.
he sent his own guy in first, Duhamel, Captain Duhamel. But you see, the locals obviously they didn't want to help him because they want the money. So Duhamel, or he might have been a prick. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. He was a horse wolf beater.
But Duhamel would never capture the beast. Not only because locals refused to aid him, but because, in his own words, by his own records, which could be subject to scrutiny, his own guards and troops were so notoriously ineffective and stupid that they foiled every attempt Duhamel had to kill the beast. So, a few months go by, nothing happens. And King Louis, he's like, okay, I'm going to send in 2 professional wolf hunters to replace Duhamel. And now I want you to imagine, Mary, I thought we could play a little game.
Okay.
I want you to imagine what you would name in your romance novel that you're writing, okay, called The Beast Within. What name would you give to the professional wolf hunter?
The professional wolf hunter. Damien? I don't know.
Put you on the spot.
Damien? I don't know.
Snake Plissken. Well, I will tell you that my romance novel that is called Shepherd's Pie will be starring a wolf hunter extraordinaire, Ivan McClintock.
Oh.
Yes. He's willowy, he's sleek. He's got kind eyes, but rough-hewn hands.
Well, I didn't say Damien's last name. It's Damien Wolfsucker.
Wolfsucker. Wolfsucker is German.
Yeah, Damien Wolfsucker.
Damien Wolfsucker Van Helsing.
He has a way with wolves.
Well, anyways, the professional wolf. I almost said sucker.
Professional wolf sucker.
The professional wolf hunter that Louis the 15th almost sent. Okay, this guy's name was Jean Charles Marc Antoine Vesmir de Henneval.
Sounds like a wolf sucker.
So I'm gonna call him for short Marc Tony. Okay.
Yeah.
So he was accompanied by his son Jean Francois, John Frank, and around this time Duhamel is still stalking around the French woods with his band of merry assholes. Well, Marc Tony and his son arrive at a suburb of Gévaudan around February of 1765 with a band of bloodhounds, because Marc Tony's method of catching the beast was to stalk it and to outsmart the beast, whereas I guess Duhamel's was to just tromp around in the forest like an asshole and try to drive it out of its hidey hole. Neither of them were successful, though, because months would go by and nothing would be. There's no fruition. So King Louis was kind of getting tired of looking like a dickhead in front of everybody, so he sends in his very own lieutenant of the hunt.
His very own horse sucker.
His very own horse beater.
Prized horse sucker.
His prized horse beater. King Louis sent in his own lieutenant of the hunt, a guy named Francois Antoine. So Frank Tony. Frank Tony arrives in Gévaudan around June of 1765 and begins the hunt. And around September 20th of the same year, he has a breakthrough.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. He and his crew kill a large gray wolf that measures 31 inches high, 5 feet 7 inches long,
okay,
and weighs about 133 pounds. And, Frank Tony is convinced this is the wolf. This is the monster.
This is the wolf.
He says, this is the wolf. We've got him, everybody. At this press conference, we got the son of a bitch. Okay.
We're at the Hilton.
Yeah.
At the airport.
Yeah. Big, pictures going off and everything. We've got the son of a bitch. Sacre bleu. As you can see, this here wolf is a big motherfucker. It's bigger than any dog or wolf I have ever witnessed.
But the horse?
But the horse, maybe the size of a horse. So, basically, he gave a speech where he was like, oh, this is a big fucking whore. Big fucking whore. This is a big
Here's your big fucking whore wolf. Woo! Tell you what.
I is big motherfucker.
I've seen some whore wolves in my day. That's the biggest whore wolf I've ever seen.
But anyways, some of the victims, survivors, came forward. They got to look at the corpse of the wolf, and they corroborated that there were certain scars on the wolf's body that had been defensive wounds inflicted by the victims. Supposedly. So, they name the dead wolf La Loupe des Chats, because that's where it was killed. They stuff the son of a bitch, and they send him back to King Louis XV. And Frank Tony is hailed as a hero. He is celebrated. But Frank Tony wasn't done, because he wanted to hunt down the entire family. The entire Beast family.
Oh.
It wasn't enough that he got Daddy Chaz.
Daddy Chaz!
He had to get Mommy and the babies.
Oh,
so he went after its female partner and their 2 cubs. And he did kill them. And what he says is he identified the wolves had a double dew claw, which was an odd and specifically only known to a specific dog breed in this region, which is weird. Either way, Frank Tony returned to Versailles, and he was given not 6,000 livres, okay, but 9,000 livres.
Ooh.
So we're talking about $400,000 in today's.
Ooh. Oh.
Which was probably just his annual pay for being a king's huntsman, so, not really an extra expense coming out of the pockets.
You got me my wolf horse. Good boy. Good boy.
This wolf horse is beautiful.
Yes. Stuff it.
Put it by the toilet and pet it while I
Put
take
it
a
in the
shit.
main hall.
I'm going to suck a brain, but I always have to start out with that. I always have to start out with that. Suck a brain. I'm going to take this nice wolf horse and put it in my bathroom and pet it while I take a shit. And it always goes to German. Anyways, so people in Gévaudan, they're like, okay, the king's huntsman caught the beast.
The horse wolf.
The wolf. They caught the wolf. And they're like, okay, I guess we can calm down a little bit. But that December in 1765, right after all of this happens, 2 shepherd boys narrowly escape a giant, formidable wolf creature. There was a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old. They were tending to their flock. The 6-year-old almost got dragged off by the beast, and the 12-year-old intervened, I guess, with a horse beater.
A horse, but ooh, Damien
von Brusselstauf.
What was it, Damien?
You don't think you gave him a last name?
Horsesucker von Klitzlicker. I think is what his name was. Yeah, I don't know. You have to look it up, Google it. But
his actual name.
He was from southern France in the 1700s.
Yvonne McClintock. I'm very well.
Horsesucker.
I'm a very beautiful huntsman, wolf extraordinaire huntsman.
Oh yeah, he's German.
It always comes back to German.
Sorry guys, German household here. So,
but throughout the rest of 1766. There were 12 more killings in the 50-mile area.
So he didn't get it.
And countless others that were wounded during 1766. And so the locals in Gévaudan were like, well, the king and his huntsmen are full of shit. They didn't get this. And it's not just like your average wolf, like, attack or mauling. They're specifically accounts of this monstrous.
It's not going for livestock. It's going for women and children, mainly attacking their faces and their throat, like ripping their throats out. Okay.
So they're like, okay, so the king and his huntsmen are full of shit, and so it gets to a point that on June 19th, 1767, your birthday.
Oh my God, my birthday.
A local of Gévaudan named Jean Chastel.
Horsesucker extraordinaire.
He was with an organized hunt that a nobleman had conducted in Gévaudan, and he tracked a creature.
Fuck.
A massive hulking wolf, and shot it on the slopes of Mont Mouchet, which they say is called La Sang des Werewolves now. And so an autopsy was performed by a Dr. Boulanger and was notarized by a man named Marin. And they were not German, they were French, but I can't do a French accent without saying sacre bleu. His findings were published in what is called the Marin Report.
Okay.
And in this report, this beast that Châtel shot was identified as a wolf of an unusual size and peculiar shape, and that its stomach contents did indeed contain human remains from one of its recent victims.
Wow.
And what is funny is that after this, the sightings and attacks of the enormous beast of Gévaudan cease.
So leave it to an old local to find out where this beast is, track it down, suck it off with sticks, or whatever they had to use back then. I guess they had to use sticks back then, apparently, to beat off a horse.
To beat off a horse wolf. But...
Wow. But I've heard rumors, too, that it was a lion, apparently, from some type of zoo, because it had the red coloring, a black streak down its back.
Some accounts say that, but...
You know, in southern France, do you think they've seen a lion? No, probably not. Could it be a lion? Yeah, maybe. But... Are lions known for attacking and mauling women and children specifically?
Well, we talked about the Zavo lions.
Yeah.
But the sheer amount of reports, like, that's one fucking lion. Like,
that's a lot in a small region at the time.
Yeah, so
like, what was the populace back then? It was probably nil to nothing, you know. So to have
I don't know, but
600 encounters.
Yeah, I don't
documented.
I doubt it was a lion. I seriously doubt it was a fucking lion. But I mean, it could have been, in fact, like a wolf hybrid, like they have coyote wolves.
Well, they talk about the dire wolves and stuff like that too. So I mean, you never know.
You know, the bizarre part of it is that it was primarily just attacking and killing women and children who are alone, which also created this mythos around, like, people thinking, oh, it's a supernatural entity, it's a werewolf, it's a man, or there's a serial killer.
Maybe it's a Republican.
That's a good one, Brenda!
Oops. Did I say that?
Good, Brenda. Hell yeah.
But, you know, dire wolf, lion.
I don't know.
Or horse wolf hybrid.
Horse wolf hybrid.
I'm trying to imagine that go down in the bedroom.
I can't imagine. Well, here's the thing. The Zabo lions that took place in Africa, right? And this is like 1700s, like, France. Like, yeah, I guess they could... I doubt they had a fucking zoo or somebody who had a fucking lion nearby. Mm-hmm. Also, male lions don't hunt, usually. I guess if they're starving, they will. I mean, when they're, you know, push comes to shove. But at the same time, that's a lot of fucking...
That's a lot of dead people.
It's just very bizarre.
It is.
It's very weird. So there are some people who say that some of the child killings were actually a serial killer. That there were an active serial killer, that it just kind of blended into this mythos of the beast.
It's just this man or woman dressed up in a Wolverine costume before their time, just tearing apart the populace.
The Beast of Gévaudan.
So, who knows? Maybe there's some lore tied into the region. I mean, sure. I don't know. I mean, we have...
There is now because of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that spot Mothman. So, I mean, you know.
You know, with the werewolves of Gévaudan.
Somebody locally killed this beast. The killing stopped.
The killing stopped. Well,
and the Beast of Gévaudan was in the past, and it still is.
Well,
and hopefully there's not another
maybe
beast.
Fake news. Maybe it went on even further.
Oh, yeah.
We just don't know.
We don't know. We just didn't hear about it.
Maybe to this day, maybe it's like an American Werewolf in Paris. Couldn't resist.
Oh, guys, thank you.
Thank you
so much for listening and following us on our YouTube, as well as where you can listen to podcasts, any platform you choose, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that nonsense. Please follow us. Please share it. Please like it. Tell a friend. You know, come on. We're really putting in some effort. But
well, thank you for watching. Yeah,
we appreciate you guys. This is fun for us.
This is fun for us.
Until next time.
Right.
Bye.